When I first moved in with my now husband, I didn't mind splitting things 50-50ths. We were just dating, and it felt fair, two independent people sharing expenses equally. At the time, he reassured me, "This way, I'll have more money to surprise you with gifts." I was in love, young, and hopeful. I believed in partnerships built on fairness. What I didn't realize was that fairness didn't always mean equality, it meant equity. And that was something he never understood. Fast forward, we got married, and absolutely nothing changed. My husband makes nearly 3 times what I do. I work in education, pouring my heart and soul into a career that will never make me rich. He works in finance, raking in 6 figures without breaking a sweat. Our rent is Steve picked the place, of course, but under his 50-50ths rule, my portion takes up nearly 40% of my paycheck, while his is just 10% of his. It doesn't stop at rent. Groceries, utilities, home repairs, vacations, everything is split. I have to budget down to the last dollar while he goes out for $100 steak dinners with his friends. And when I say no to a night out because I can't afford my half, he shrugs and goes without me. I started resenting him, not just because he made me split the bills, but because he refused to acknowledge that this setup was unfair. When I brought it up, he got defensive. "I worked hard for my salary. Why should I pay more just because you chose a lower-paying job?" It wasn't just about money anymore. It was about power. It was about how he got to enjoy life, traveling, eating well, wearing designer clothes while I struggled just to keep up. I wasn't his wife. I was a glorified roommate. Then came the breaking point. I was in line at the grocery store, counting pennies to make sure I could cover my half. Meanwhile, he was texting me about a new luxury watch he had just bought. When I got home, I told him we needed to talk. He sighed, exasperated, like I was annoying him. "Let me guess," he said. "You want me to pay for more things?" "No," I said. "I want a divorce." He laughed. Actually laughed. He thought I was bluffing. "Because of money?" He scoffed. "That's ridiculous." "No, because of what the money represents," I shot back. "Because you don't care that I'm drowning while you're thriving. Because you think fairness is making your wife struggle just so you can keep extra spending money." For the first time, I saw fear in his eyes, not because he was about to lose his wife, but because he realized he might actually have to lose half of everything. He tried to backtrack. He said we could reevaluate things, that maybe he'd start covering a little more, that we could adjust. But I was done adjusting. I was done being made to feel like I was asking for a handout when all I wanted was to be treated like an equal partner. I left. I moved into a small apartment that I could afford entirely on my own. And you know what? For the first time in years, I felt rich. Not because I had more money, but because I had my freedom. Because I didn't have to count pennies while the man who was supposed to love me lived in luxury. And him? He begged for another chance. But some debts can't be repaid, and some things like respect aren't for sale. I will be very grateful if you subscribe to our channel. My husband and I have always had a thing for adventure, not just in life, but in our intimate moments too. Hotels, beaches, rooftops, even a forest once. We always made sure it was somewhere private, out of the way, completely safe. It was thrilling, the excitement of possibly getting caught, the adrenaline rush. It kept things alive in our marriage. So when we found this completely deserted beach while on vacation, it felt like fate. We were in the Caribbean for our anniversary, 1 week of pure bliss, away from work, stress, and responsibilities. Our resort was great, but on the 4th day, we wanted to explore beyond the tourist areas, so we rented a little Jeep and drove along the coast, looking for hidden gems. And that's when we found it. A pristine, untouched beach with no footprints in the sand, no tourists, no locals, nothing. Just crystal clear water and the sound of waves crashing against the shore. We pulled over, took off our shoes, and ran straight into the water like teenagers. It was perfect. And then we saw it, the abandoned beach bar. It sat right at the edge of the sand, half hidden by overgrown palm trees. The wooden structure was worn down, the roof was sagging a little, and the sign out front was so faded we could barely read it. It must have been closed for years. "This place is kinda cool," my husband said, peering inside. The door was wide open. We stepped in cautiously, expecting it to be trashed. But surprisingly, aside from some dust and overturned chairs, it looked mostly intact. There was still a bar counter, old liquor bottles on the shelves, and a few tables scattered around. That's when the idea hit me. I turned to my husband with a smirk. "No one's here. No one will ever know." His eyes darkened. He knew exactly what I was suggesting. He didn't need much convincing. Everything was perfect. The excitement, the rush, the feeling of doing something so reckless and wild. The dim lighting, the scent of salt water in the air, the warmth of his hands on my skin, it was incredible. Until I saw something move. A giant rat scurried across the floor near the shelves. I gasped, jolting upright, but before I could even say a word, my husband's expression completely changed. He wasn't looking at the rat. He was looking at something far worse. Mounted on the wall, barely noticeable at first glance, was a security camera. I froze. My heart started hammering in my chest. No, 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 please let it be old, please let it be broken. That hope lasted 3 seconds. Because right then, a tiny red light flickered on. It was recording. "Oh my God," I whispered, scrambling to grab my clothes. My hands were shaking so badly I fumbled with my shirt. My husband swore under his breath, yanking on his shorts. We had no idea who owned this place. Had we just unknowingly starred in someone's private show? Was this footage being saved somewhere? Or worse, streamed live? We ran out of there so fast I almost tripped on the steps. My heart was pounding, my mind racing with worst-case scenarios. By the time we reached the car, I was already refreshing local social media pages, half expecting to see a blurry screenshot of us with a "look what we caught on camera" caption. For days, I was on edge. Every time my phone rang, I was convinced it was someone blackmailing us. Then, exactly 1 week later, I got a text. "Unknown number, nice performance. Want to see the replay?" I nearly dropped my phone. I showed the text to my husband, my hands shaking. "Who the hell is this?" I whispered. He grabbed my phone and called the number immediately. Straight to voicemail. No name, no details, just silence. A minute later, a second text came through. "Unknown number. Don't worry. Your secret's safe with me. For now." That's when I lost it. Number no, 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 this is bad. This is really, really bad. My husband tried to calm me down, but he looked just as shaken. "Maybe it's a prank," he said, but his voice lacked confidence. Then another text. "Unknown number, $5,000, and I delete the footage. Or I send it to everyone you know." I felt sick. Blackmail. This was actual blackmail. My husband's jaw clenched. "We're not paying this guy a damn cent." "Then what do we do?" I whispered. "What if he actually sends it to people?" My mind was spiraling. What if my family saw it? My job? My husband's boss? We needed a plan. Fast. Instead of responding, my husband did something brilliant. He grabbed his laptop and ran a reverse search on the number. It led to a fake, untraceable account. But there was a link. A private website? We clicked AITA and our worst nightmare became real. It was a site selling voyeur videos, hidden camera footage, stuff recorded without people's knowledge. And one of the newest uploads? Couple gets it on in abandoned beach bar. My blood ran cold. We clicked the video, praying it wouldn't work, but it did. It was us. Clear as day, from multiple angles. I covered my mouth, feeling actual tears welling in my eyes. My husband clenched his fists. "We're taking this guy down." We contacted a lawyer, explained everything, and reported the website. Turns out it wasn't just us, dozens of couples had been filmed without consent. The police got involved. The website was traced to one guy, a local bar owner. Not only had he been secretly filming people for years, but he was selling the footage to sickos online. They raided his place, found hard drives full of videos, including ours. And the best part? They arrested him. His entire operation was shut down. We didn't stop there. We took legal action against him and won. every video was taken down and we got a massive settlement for damages. It was over. But even now, whenever I see a security camera, I feel paranoid. Because I can't help but wonder how many more people have been caught without knowing, and how many of them never find out. Moral of the story? Next time you think you're alone, double check. Because you never know who's watching.